everybody? Welcome to the Player's Take, episode 207. I'm your host, Justin DeSimone, joined by my co-host, Montrell Rice. Montrell, how are you doing this week?
All right, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. I told you over text, but man, this morning, what the fuck, dude? Like, it was raining today, all right? And I'm driving to work. And dude, there's this one light. I drive through a bunch of stoplights on the way to work because it's like the most direct way to my job, and generally the fastest, even with the stoplights. But today, man, it was raining, this morning, and with that sometimes comes power outages, and every single time it rains, dude, one of the lights is out on my way to work. And today it was the worst one imaginable, literally like the biggest intersection between Keller and South Lake. And dude, when I tell you this shit was backed up for like miles, I am not fucking with you. Like to the point that I almost turned around and drove home, but I didn't. And I like got to work, dude. I didn't get to work till 9:45. Like, and I left my house at 8:10. And I'm about 22 miles from the office, like that is fucking insane. I was pissed because I was gonna leave early, so we could do the recording early today, and fucking couldn't do that. So it was great. It was awesome. But yeah, it's just Texas power grid fucking sucks dick. All it takes is like a little.
It really does.
Little bit of rain, dude. Little bit of rain, and power outage. Oh god, So I'm surprised we got through those ice storms last week with nothing too crazy.
Well, also it takes it's like when it rains, traffic is really bad because I don't know. I think Texans can't drive. And
they cannot drive in inclement weather in any form or fashion. It doesn't matter whether it's rain, hail, snow. Does not matter. They do not know how to drive. They like dude. It's like clockwork. They like panic. Like dude. It's like they're driving like grandmas out there. Like 20 miles an hour and like a 45. I'm like, oh my fucking god. Like,
I mean, back in Boston, you drove in that weather? I'm assuming, right?
No, I didn't drive very much in Boston. I actually didn't get my license until I moved here. However, I have many experiences being in a car in Boston, and people in Boston are the total opposite of Texans. Inclement weather is pretty common, whether it's rain, snow, whatever, and they still drive like maniacs. So I guess I would take this over that, less chance of dying, but at the same time, like, dude, just because there's some water on the ground does not mean you need to drive like 20 miles an hour. It's like, Jesus, like learn how to stop your car when it's wet.
Yeah, I guess it's the same thing in Michigan. Like they still drive fast, especially the guys with like pickup trucks and 4-wheel drive SUVs.
Yeah,
but I don't know. It doesn't seem like there's as many accidents out there in Michigan. Like when it rains or
funny because
snows.
there's a ton here. Like, dude, it's like these people drive like grandmas, and yet somehow they still crash into each other. I don't understand. Like, what the hell? It's weird shit.
Yeah, it is. It's weird as fuck.
But anyways, all right. This is probably going to be a little bit shorter of an episode today. Montreal is needing to take care of some things tonight, so we are mostly going to cover probably just the Nintendo Direct. If we have time later in the episode, we may cover a couple other things, or maybe talk about the games we're playing. I don't know. We'll kind of play it by ear, but we wanted to talk about the Direct for sure. So, so let's just get right into it. For those of you who have not listened before, this is our weekly show where we talk about video games, video game news, and other topics pertaining to video games. We post at 6 a.m. Central Time on Fridays on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and your favorite podcast app of choice. And if you'd like to send us questions, you can do so at The Player's Take on Twitter, or you can send us an email to theplayerstake01@gmail.com. And Montreal, let's just jump right into this Nintendo Direct. So this happened today, and I wasn't expecting much of anything, to be honest. I had no idea what the hell they were going to show. And god damn, this is I think 2 in a row now that this has been fucking bangers, man. Because I'm trying to think, when was the last one we had? Was it a year ago?
No, it was
or 6 months ago.
A couple months ago. It was about 6 months ago.
Okay. I'm thinking of the one a year ago where they showed Xenoblade Chronicles 3, because I think we talked about that one last year around the same time, and it was fucking just as like we were like super high on it. I don't remember that last one that was a few months ago. as much, but I think I vaguely remember it being pretty strong. But like that, man, they are like, I don't know, they're just like, they're just, I don't know where these games are coming from Nintendo. They're just, it's just like banger, banger, and banger. Like, but
Well, I will say, so the link I sent you, it does show a chronological order of everything that was released.
mhm.
So if you want to use that link instead of YouTube, you can.
Okay,
I put it in the Zencaster. But yeah, I don't. Some of the announcements they did were already like in the works. Like it was only one or two games, right? So it was like
brand
we'll get
new.
to it later. But yeah, I mean they weren't brand new, but like Advanced Wars, we already knew that one was coming out. You know.
Well, I think
Um,
like some of this stuff though, like Advance Wars is a good example, which is funny. While I was sitting in my car this morning for 45 minutes at one stoplight, I was, I had plenty of time to think about shit, and I was thinking about Advance Wars, and I was like, it was hilarious because I forgot this direct was happening today, and I was like, I was sitting there like, man, Advance War, what the fuck happened to that game, dude? Like, did it just go into like a void and is never coming out? Like, what happened to it? Because I remember it was supposed to come out like last year at this time, and then they delayed it indefinitely because of the war in Ukraine, which was the weirdest fucking excuse ever to not release a video game. But
yeah,
then they never gave us a release date, and we heard nothing about the game. They said it was coming out in 2022 though, and it never did, and we never heard anything. And then all of a sudden, it just pops back up here like randomly. So to be honest, like that, as much as that we knew about that game, it had been so long since we had heard anything, and we had no idea what was happening. I actually kind of feel like that is a positive for this direct though, because they gave us a date, like it's coming, we're getting it. So it's a real thing, and it's not that far out. It's coming, I think, in a couple months. So
yep. I mean, no, it was really good. I was just saying like that was probably the only thing. I didn't even know they did delayed it indefinitely. I knew they pushed it back though, but I didn't know they delayed it indefinitely because of Ukraine
yeah,
or the war in Ukraine rather.
yeah, because you remember it had a release date in April. I think it was April last year, and then they delayed it. And what they said was they cited the war in Ukraine, like that. They wanted to be, I don't know, cognizant of events happening in the real world or whatever, something along those lines. And then they
I
they said the game will be released at a later time, and they never said what that was. So
Yeah, I think it's been so long since I played Advanced Wars. I think it has ties, not ties, but like factions in there that are like reminiscent of Russian factions. I'm not too sure though.
yeah, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me, but dude, who cares? I don't know. It's such a, like, it makes me think that the fact that it was gone for so long. We're like kind of jumping ahead here, but the fact that it was
Yeah,
gone for so
yeah.
long makes me think that there was something wrong with development. Like they had an issue, and they were just using that as an excuse to get more time.
Yeah, probably. I mean,
So
there are other games now that are coming out, like Atomic Hearts.
yeah,
That game's like
yeah,
being bombarded on YouTube right now by like Russian or not Russian, but Ukrainian
mhm,
influencers because they're trying to get the game canceled. They're telling people not to buy the game and everything of that nature because it's made by a Russian company
yeah,
or a supposed Russian company that went global.
hmm
But I don't know. I mean, so I wouldn't put it past like them delaying it for maybe development reasons and maybe because it had like the original game had some like Russian ties or the characters are Russian or something like that.
hmm yeah.
I don't know.
Um, okay, well, let's get right into it. Um, they started things off strong with Pikmin 4, and I want to say I've only played Pikmin 1 back in the day on GameCube. It's the only one I played, but I fucking love Pikmin 1, and I think it's a really fun, awesome game. Um and this game looks like it just looks great to me. I don't know, it's dude, I came out of this direct with like a laundry list of games that I want to buy, off of this. And so I'm like fuck me, dude. Like cuz I kind of want to play Pikmin again. It's been a really long time for me, and to play a modern, new Pikmin game that like it looks really fucking cool. I love the aesthetic of like the miniature real world, where they're like running around somebody's front yard doing
Yeah.
stuff, like I love that. Like I think that's such a cool thing, which is funny because I don't remember that from the first game. Like I don't think that was the aesthetic in the first game, but this is, I think, more recently in the last couple games is kind of what they've been going for a little bit more. Because I think the first game, I this is what I
I thought it was
remember.
like a legitimate, like another
It's just
planet.
like an alien. Yeah, that's what I thought. It was just like an alien planet, and Olimar was, I like assumed was like a human, like just traveling the stars or whatever, and got stranded there. Because yeah, that planet is very nature filled, but there's no indicator that there's like life there, like humans or anything like that. So, I don't have a problem with that change or anything. Like I said, I really like this aesthetic. It's a really fun concept for Pikmin to play around with. Because there's some really cool like stuff in here. Like there's like a toy boat that you like go pick up, like some giant binoculars and shit. Like, so there's some cool stuff to interact with there. So I don't know. What do you think of this game? Are you if you played Pikmin? Are you a Pikmin fan?
Yeah, I played Pikmin 1. I beat Pikmin 1.
Okay.
Um, it was around the time where you can rent games, and I beat it over the weekend
Yeah,
before I had to
it was
take
a
it
short
back.
game.
Yeah. But I never played the other Pikmin games. I didn't even know there were other Pikmin games. I'm like, Pikmin 4, what happened to 2 and 3?
Yeah,
So
no, two came out. I think two came out during GameCube as well, and then I think three. I want to say three was
was
Wii.
that on the DS
No, it
or the
was
Wii?
Wii. I think it was Wii.
Okay.
I think it had motion controls.
Okay, that's probably why I didn't play it.
Yeah.
I do remember Pikmin 2 coming out, and I didn't pick it up. But that's probably why I didn't pick up 3, because it was on a Wii or Wii U or whatever the
Yeah. Hold
fuck.
on. I'll
Uh,
look this up. Keep talking.
yeah. But no, I'm Pikmin's definitely one of those games I'm going to pick up as well, because I just want to. It's one of those games where I've been looking for what I call like a de-stressor or a cool down game,
Yeah.
where I don't really do too much. I don't really do too much action. It's just like a really cool bubbly game to play,
Yeah.
and you just kind of de-stress and cool down and stuff like that from the day. So
Yeah. So
I think
Pikmin
Pikmin would be
two.
good for that.
Pikmin 2 was 2004 on GameCube, and Pikmin 3 was
Mhm.
actually in 2013, July 2013 on the Wii U originally. So,
Okay.
which is a
Yeah.
really weird gap, really random. Like the gaps with Pikmin are weird to me because it's like Pikmin 1 and 2 came out relatively close, and then there's a decade between the next game, and then there's another decade now between 3 and 4. Like,
Well, you got to remember that first decade. That's when like every Nintendo was at its worst.
yeah.
Everybody was trying to do the Western thing. Call of Duty was
hmm
like, I mean, it's still super popular, but it took the world by storm, and everybody was trying to emulate that and everything. So
Well, Nintendo wasn't making a lot of core gamer games during that period, so
exactly, yep.
yeah. But yeah, no, I don't know. It looks excellent though. I'm actually pretty excited about it. It's coming on July 21st, 2023 this year, so relatively soon, but I think it'll be a fun one. So we'll cover that of course if we play it, obviously. And anything else you want to say about this one?
No, that's it.
Okay. Next thing shown. So Montrell sent me a text while he was watching this direct, and it was clearly him being very excited, but he decided not to say what he was excited about, which I appreciate because I hate being spoiled for these things. But the whole time I'm anticipating something, right? Like some announcement that's fucking super awesome. So I'm going through this thing, and this next thing, I'm like, okay, maybe this was it, because it was a Xenoblade Chronicles DLC announcement, and it's not anything necessarily like crazy at first. Like it's wave volume 3. There's a new character class, new hero class, whatever you want to call it, in the game, and I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. It's definitely not this. But then they show a little bit of a snippet of the story of the DLC coming later in the year for this game, and they show fucking Shulk. So I'm like, okay, maybe this is what Montreal was losing his mind about, because I was fucking excited. I'm not gonna lie. Like them showing Shulk, it was the voice actor of Shulk, clearly Shulk talking. Like I had a strong suspicion. I think we both did in the game
Yeah,
when
we
we were talking
did.
about this
Yeah.
game, that Shulk clearly had to have been one of the founders,
Yeah.
in the for the city or whatever. And I kind of assume Rex was too, but there's not, like, the game doesn't really overtly say any of this stuff, so
Exactly. Yeah.
it's mostly inference based on some environmental stuff in the game in the city and some things certain characters say at times. But so this was confirmation, at least Shulk was someone involved, which got me fucking hyped because I fucking love Shulk. He's like one of my favorite JRPG MCs ever, dude. You know. So yeah, I thought this was it. I thought this was maybe the announcement. So anyways, But we'll stay here. We'll stay here. So Montreal, are you hyped for this story DLC?
Yeah, man, we get the Giga Chat Rex and we get Shulk in the game. Oh,
Well, so was
like
that guy next to Shulk? You think that was Rex?
that's Rex.
That
He
is
looks,
Rex. I guess it is. That's that's
yeah,
the Blade. Yeah, that is Rex.
yeah.
He just sounds. It's a totally different voice actor, dude. Like he sounds
Well, he was,
completely different.
yeah, he's just older now.
He's
Like if you look at the
presumably
pictures,
older. I mean,
yeah, if you
Shulk's
look
the
at the
same
pictures
voice. They
of,
brought Shulk's voice actor back though. It's the same guy. So
yeah. I mean, Shulk was always kind of older in the games. Like he was like 18, I think, when the
yeah,
first game happened.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean, his voice is probably not
Oh
going to
yeah,
change
he's
that much.
dual wielding. That is Rex. He's got Mithra and Pyra, the blades for
Yeah.
both of them. Oh, okay. I
And then
didn't see that.
if you look at his picture, when fucking Mio, not Mio, but fuck, oh my
King
god,
Chad Rex.
I can't remember her name now.
Wait,
What
that
the
was
fuck is her name?
Elvis. I didn't even notice. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
exactly.
What the
That was
fuck,
Elvis too.
dude? Oh shit. Oh my
That's
god.
why I was freaking out because I'm like, bro, that's Elvis.
So this
Like I
was the
was,
thing. This was the thing you were freaking out about. Okay.
yeah. I mean,
Okay.
it's another thing that we're gonna talk
No,
about
I
too.
know.
But
Dude, like this direct was so good for me and him that like couldn't even tell which thing it was. You know. Oh
but
shit.
yeah, after that first text. That was the first one I sent you, and then I didn't say anything else anymore because I'm like, he's gonna know other stuff that's coming if I keep
Yeah.
like screaming into. I was screaming in text messages, which is incoherent words,
Uh-huh.
so it's a whole thing I do. But yeah, that's Rex. If you look at the pictures that they show on Xenoblade
No, it
Chronicles
definitely is.
3,
Yeah, it definitely is. The voice
it
threw me
looks like,
off for sure.
yeah. So I'm excited for it. I can't wait for them to announce it. I've actually been thinking about going back and playing the DLCs for the Xenoblade games. So
Oh,
I'm gonna.
yeah.
So now I think I'm actually gonna do that.
I
Especially Xenoblade Chronicles 2 or
Yeah.
3. I
Yeah.
actually love that. I like that combat a lot. Actually, it's really cool.
Yeah.
It's just overwhelming, but I think since I beat the game now, I can go at my own pace. Like I think
Well,
I wouldn't mind getting back into it because I like the road like challenge mode they have. I think
yeah.
that's pretty cool. Actually,
Yeah.
I don't know. To me, I think they just make this series a fucking MMO now. Like,
Yeah.
just make it a fucking MMO. You got all
Just
these
do it.
classes and stuff like. Yeah, just do it, man. Make it an MMO.
Well, yeah, so I'm in the same I think I might be in the boat you were in last year. I'm thinking I might play all 3 games again this year.
No, I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy.
I
I love the games.
I know, but man, I'm thinking about it because I never played the DLC for the first game or the second game, and I own both. And I want to play this DLC for the third game, and I really think I need to get the whole picture before I do that.
Yeah, yeah.
Because the DLC for the first game, which isn't really DLC, it was part of the definitive edition, I think. But the DLC for that game or the extra stuff is an epilogue that takes place after the game, and I'm not sure there's anything important in there, but there might be, and I kind of don't want to ignore that. So I kind of want to play through that, and then the Torna DLC for 2 is actually pretty big from what I understand, and has a lot of
Yeah.
lore in it for 2's world. So like I don't know if I'm gonna do that though. I need to play through 2 again for sure because I don't remember all the details on 2. And 1, I don't need to play 1 again, but I love 1, so any excuse to play 1 again, I'll probably do it. And 3, I honestly actually feel like I want to play 3 again because I don't feel like I gave it a fair playthrough this first time. Like I kind of rushed through it, if I'm being honest.
Okay.
Especially late in the game, I stopped doing side content like pretty heavily, and kind of just rush through the main story. So I want to give the game a little bit more of a shot. And also, I think the thing I've never done with any of the Xenoblade games, and this is something that kind of makes me feel bad, is I've never done any of the end game shit for any of the games, which I know sounds crazy, but these games are so huge that doing the end game for them is like so fucking like it's just a lot.
Easily like 300 or 400 hours.
Yeah,
It's
dude.
not even joking. It's easily.
So, but I kind of like
I
I need to do it. You know, I'm a fucking mega fan
Yeah.
of this series. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm actually gonna do this, but it's in my head right now, and I want to do it. So I don't know. I gotta figure some things out because done with Ion right now, but I want to play Final Fantasy 14. But if I'm gonna do that, I don't know if that's gonna leave me time to do all this other stuff. So I may just leave Final Fantasy 14 alone for now. I don't know. With all these games being announced, there's just so much shit. Like there's so much time that I need. So, anyways, this looks cool. I'm excited. I think the only issue I have with this, I'm a little frustrated because this is more like Square. This kind of feels like this is the first time Monolith's done this because the DLC for the second game I don't think is essential to the game's story. But I'm feeling like this DLC is going to be essential to this game's story, and that being tied to monetary DLC, like paid DLC, is a little icky to me in the same way that it was for like Final Fantasy 13 2 or even Final Fantasy 15, what they
Yeah,
did.
they did do that. This game was more complete than those games. Well, Final
Yeah.
Fantasy 13, I didn't mind it. 15 though, um, that was insane. Uh, so I think they did the Final Fantasy 13 route, which is okay. You still got a complete game out of it.
Mm-hmm.
I thought maybe they were just gonna make a whole new game and like connect them, but I
Yeah.
think this
Yeah.
DLC is gonna connect everything. I will say for two though, in my opinion, they kind of started in two. If you play through two again, you will see that they reference a character that's only available. It's three characters they always reference,
Yes.
and it's in the flashbacks and stuff like that,
Yep.
and that's where the Torna DLC is.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. You get to
so in
learn
my
who they
opinion,
are. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So in my opinion, they kind of like, if you want to know more about the story, pay $30 more because DLC is still fucking $40, I think. $30 or $40.
Yes. No, it's
crazy.
$40. Dude, it was literally so big that they boxed it. They made a physical version of it. Like
Oh,
for
really?
Torna. Yeah, no, it was insane. Like I fucking like I would see it at Target. Dude, you could still find it, I think, out there if you really look for it. But yeah,
Yeah.
there's a
All
physical
right.
version of the Torna DLC, and it literally says on the box like you need Xenoblade Chronicles 2 to play this.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just glad they have I think the community is split on who the best MC is because I think a lot of people started with two. I will I will
No,
I
bro,
will
no,
go on
there's no
record.
debate. There's no debate. There's no debate. Anybody who thinks
No,
it
no, no.
isn't Shulk is just like sorry.
I'm just telling you.
They're wrong.
I think and I'm gonna take a stretch here. I think 50% of the fan base now, I'm talking about everybody together is newer players who
Yeah.
came in at two.
Definitely.
So and I mean, 10 million copies were sold for Xenoblade Chronicles 3, and I'm assuming that 5 million. I'll even say 6 million,
really?
maybe.
You're not.
Yeah,
You're serious right now. No, it didn't.
I think it sold 10 million copies.
No, there's no way.
I want to say that. Hold on.
No. It's like 2 million.
Oh, it's 2 million.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
I'm sorry.
Maybe two and a
Uh,
half at this point. Yeah,
all
10.
right.
Holy shit, dude. That would be crazy.
Maybe it's the series as a whole.
Yeah, I
thought
think it's the
maybe I was
series
thinking.
as a whole, including X, probably.
Okay. Yeah, but even half of that number, I'm assuming like are Xenoblade Chronicle 2 fans. And a lot of people did come on Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and they did not play Xenoblade Chronicles 1 until the definitive edition. And then even then, a lot of people are like, I like Shulk, but I actually like Rex more.
No.
And I don't think they like Rex more. I just think they like Pyre and Mythos boobs more. That's just my opinion.
I think so
But
too. You're totally right, dude. It's simple shit. Like, dude, there is
Yeah.
no contest. I'm sorry, dude. Like there was a video going around the other day. Somebody posted like one of the end game cutscenes for Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and Rex is like talking, and I'm like, bro, the VA is like, it's so bad. I'm like, it's not anywhere near as good as one. Like, I'm sorry, it's just not.
No, yeah, it's not. I mean, I like Rex's voice. I think everybody else's voice actors do really good, except for Pyra Myth's voice actor. Voice actress rather. I don't think she did a really good job. But I know she was also relatively young when she got that job. So
Yeah,
um,
but even Rex, like I used to like Rex's voice actor, but dude, when he gets into those like intense battle scenes where he's like screaming and yelling, it just sounds terrible. Like it doesn't translate for me anymore. Whereas like Shulk's like the total opposite, bro. Like the VA for Shulk is incredible. Like he's one of the
like,
was one of the best performances I've ever heard in a game. Like,
Like that video I sent you where they were talking about Elon.
yeah,
Like,
dude,
Elon, how dare you?
bro, that scene though is like fucking iconic for me in like JRPGs. It's one of the most powerful moments I've like seen in a game. You know, it's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and that has to do with the VA, like the delivery of the performance. You know, so I don't
Yeah,
know.
no, they all brought their A game with that.
I
But
get it.
yeah,
I
I don't
get
want to.
it.
I
I
don't.
get it. If you played 2 first, it's kind of a nostalgia thing, right? It's kind of like the Uncharted 2 versus Uncharted 3 debate, right? If Uncharted 3 had come out first, people would probably love Uncharted 3 more than they love 2. It's just that they came out in reverse order. Like I get it. You know, it is what it is. It's what you played first. So
Yeah, but I'm excited for it. But I don't want to get stuck on this all day. So let's move
yeah,
on to
yeah.
the next bullet point.
So yeah, to wrap this up, Volume 3 is coming out on February 15th, and then the DLC is coming out later this year. No exact date for it right now. Okay, moving on. Next thing was a rhythm game from Sega called Samba de Amigo, Party Central, and it is coming this summer. You have anything to say about this one?
No, I mean I remember this game. I
Is
think it
this a
came out on the Dream.
franchise? Okay, all right.
Yeah, I think it came out on the Dreamcast or maybe even the Sega Saturn. But I never played it like that,
No,
so
dude,
I'm glad it's back for people.
the funny thing though, I just laughed at this because did you see the person in the bottom right like just like playing the game? Like did you see that when you were watching the
No,
direct?
no.
And they're just there with their back turned. Like I don't even know what they're like trying to show with that. Like why even show somebody? I don't know. It's weird. Like they're just trying to show motion controls. I don't know, but yeah, it's fine. I mean, obviously, this is great for people who are fans of this franchise. It's good you're getting a new game. All right, next thing that they showed was Xseed making a multiplayer game called Fashion Dreamer, and
Yeah, this is I kind of tuned out right here
me
because they were showing
too.
a bunch of weird stuff right here.
This is
I guess
weird,
that's not
man.
necessarily weird, but like, yeah, I don't know. It was just weird.
Yeah, it's like a clothing game, and you just walk around with your clothes, and you look cool and look pretty, and I don't know. I don't know what else to say about it. It's a game. All right, next thing that was shown. This was kind of a surprise. I think we had already known about this though. I think there were rumors about this. Dead Cells is getting another DLC. This game has fucking gotten an insane amount of post release
Yeah,
content.
I'm thinking about buying this game to be honest with you.
Well, I own it, dude. I like own it on Switch, and I'm like, I'm watching this, and I'm like, okay, this is it. I think I'm going back to it. Like, I don't, like, you know, because they're doing they're doing a Castlevania crossover DLC, and they said that they have 13 remastered tracks or remade tracks or remix tracks, something like that, and then
Mhm.
51 total tracks from Castlevania, and then it's a Castlevania themed like levels that you get to play, and you can fight Dracula, you can fight Death. You can, I think you get costumes of like Richter and Alucard as well, and you get to use like the equipment from Castlevania, like the fucking boomerang thing and the fucking like the whip and all that stuff. This looks fucking dope. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it does. So I mean, I'm not a Castlevania fan. Not because I don't like the series. I just didn't grow up with the series because my grandma.
Oh yeah.
But I'm actually the game looks good though, and I'm always been interested in Dead Cells, so this would be just an excuse for me to buy it and stuff like that, and experience both of them. Maybe I'll go back and play Castlevania games after that.
Well, this game is really good. It controls really well. It's really fun. It's a cool concept. It has a fuck ton of DLC now and tons of content, obviously. So if you're gonna jump into it now, is probably the best time. But yeah, I also tried to play Castlevania Symphony of the Night like a year or two ago. I don't remember how long it was, and I don't know why it was not vibing with me in the moment. So I feel bad about that because that game is, excellent, but I don't know. I got to play through it. Like I want to play through it. So, this may be a way for me to get into it as well. Okay, moving on. The next game shown was from Bithell Games, and it is a Tron game, Tron Identity. It is coming to Switch in April. What did you think of this one?
uh, it looks cool. I don't think it'd be my type of game, but I'm not gonna lie, I was intrigued by it. Like the story narrative type game. I don't know, it looked really
Yeah.
cool for some reason. So
Yeah, so
I
this
don't
looks
know.
to be a narratively driven game,
Yeah.
for the most part, which is interesting when you make
Yeah.
choices and stuff, um, which is kind of an intriguing thing.
Yeah, they're saying this is like a detective type game, which
Mhm.
I've been seeing a lot of lately from Switch. And I used to play those games a lot on the Sega CD.
Yeah.
I used to play a lot of detective games on the Sega CD, not because I wanted to, but that's all I had. Unfortunately, my mom just bought random games.
Mhm.
So I don't know. Maybe I'll check it out.
Well, yeah, and like I said, this is made by Bithell Games, which he has made a lot of. In the owner of the studio, the founder is Mike Bithell, and he's actually made some pretty interesting games since he made this studio. Is Volume, Subsurface Circular, Quarantine Circular, John Wick Hex, call the Solitary Conspiracy, Arc Smith, and then this game now, Tron Identity. So it's actually got a pretty strong track record
Hmm.
overall. So I would actually kind of expect this to be pretty good um, overall. So might be worth checking out. It is coming in
All right.
April as well. All right, next thing shown was a game. This is an existing franchise. I've never heard of this before, but Ghost Trick Phantom Detective is getting remastered, and it's coming out this summer. And this kind of looked like an interesting game where you kind of control a spirit that can control objects, and you can interact and impact the environment. And you may be able to there are things that happen within the game where you may be able to like change the outcome depending on what you do within the game. So
Yeah, it was originally a Nintendo DS game and iOS game, and then obviously they remastered for the Switch. I remember when it first came out, I didn't pick it up, but I remember a lot of people liked it. It had one of those cult followings, like
mhm.
Elite Beat Agents and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not like those games, but it had a small following that was like really vocal about. If someone talked about it, like, you know about Ghost Trick, man, and then it just sparked from there. So
Hmm.
yeah,
Looks pretty cool. All right, next thing shown was something called Deca Police. Is an RPG. It looks like a turn-based RPG from Level 5. This is the studio that made the Nino Kuni games, and a bunch of other
yeah,
stuff. The Layton games. They're pretty well-known studio actually.
yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I saw this game and I was like, oh, whatever. But then they started showing the gameplay. I was like, you got me now.
I mean, dude, Level 5, they're a really underrated team. We just don't get all their games in the US. They're pretty Japanese centric in recent
Mhm.
years. But yeah, dude, they're a really strong studio. They made some really cool games over time, and I don't know. I was with you. I didn't really think much of this until I started like actually paying attention and realized it was them. At the end, I went back through and like watched it again. I'm like, oh shit, okay, might be something here.
Yeah.
So this looks like it could be pretty cool because it looks to be, I don't know if it's open world per se, but you do get to explore the city that they're in a little bit, and it's a turn based. It looks like a turn based role playing game. Um,
Yeah, it
overall
looks
as
like
well.
almost looks like a active combat
Yeah,
situation
yeah,
from what I was looking at. So I
yeah,
don't know. Yeah, it looks more like akin to I don't know if you play Chrono Trigger, but look, that's what it looks like.
yeah. Like an
But I'm not sure.
ATB
Yeah,
style. Yeah. Um, but yeah, it looks pretty good. So it's coming out this year. They didn't give an exact date, so I'm sure we'll see more of it as it gets closer to release. But I'll certainly be interested to see more. All right. Next thing was we got another look at Bayonetta Origins, Cereza and the Lost Demon, which is coming on March 17th. Montrell, you have anything to say on this one?
no, not too much. It looks better than the original gameplay they showed before,
Yeah.
but I don't. I still think I'm going to skip out on it.
Yeah, yeah. It definitely has a little. It looks a little bit more polished than last time, um,
Yeah,
for sure. But yeah, I'm not. I don't know. I'm not. This isn't for me. So, all right. After that was Splatoon 3. We spent, I don't know, 5 minutes. It feels like every time yeah, it literally was five plus minutes. with Splatoon 3. They showed an expansion pass that is coming. No, I don't have anything to say on this. You?
I don't, but I thought that expansion pass, the Wave One, I thought that was like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, somebody even said it there. It was like, oh, yo, is it Yoko Taro? I was like, is this a fucking near universe? The fucking Splatoon is going into.
That's funny.
So I can't fucking escape that game. God damn. But
Yeah, man.
no,
No, Yoko Taro
look.
shows up wherever he pleases.
So yeah, but yeah, it looks cool. But that's all I got to say about it.
All right, fair enough. Next thing shown was a platformer called Disney Illusion Island. It's coming on July 28th. It is like a 2D platformer. Has very animation style graphics to it. It actually looks really good overall. But any interest in this one?
Nope, it does not have Sora, or Donald, or Goofy. I mean, it does have Goofy, y'all, and it has Donald, but it doesn't have Sora. So I'm sorry, Kingdom Hearts fans.
Montrell, how could you say that?
I'm sorry, Kingdom Hearts fans. It's a regular Disney game.
Okay, we can move on. All right, so next thing we got was some more info about the Fire Emblem Engage DLC pass. Wave 2 is adding more emblems, which this was funny. So they're adding Hector, which makes sense. He was a Lord character. But then shit gets kind of random. So they're adding Soren and someone named Pandreo, who I don't remember at all. Camilla from Fire Emblem Fates. Then they are adding Crom, he's a Lord, so that one makes sense. And then we get real fucking random with Veronica from Fire Emblem fucking Heroes. Like, bro, they've just been waiting for that one. And motherfucker, her ability is she summons characters to fight. Like, what the fuck, man? You know? Like, I don't know. I just it's just super funny, dude. Like,
They had to show Fire Emblem hero fans some love.
of course.
Like
I mean,
the
this
degenerates.
whole game's a love letter to them, I feel like. But I mean, I think the thing is, so this DLC it's coming with some maps where you play a map and you fight I think you fight the emblem in question to recruit them, which I like this conceptually. I think this is really cool. They do this in the game actually with the emblems you get in game, where you play through a map in their paralog that's from their game, which is, I thought, a really cool touch overall. But I think the thing I don't like here is like the number of emblems they are adding through DLC. Is they're probably going to double or potentially triple the number of emblems you have access to through paid DLC. And I'm sorry, like, this is something that Fire Emblem has been doing with their DLC for a while, and they didn't really do it with Three Houses, so I didn't hate their DLC there as much, where they just give you like power, in the game,
Yeah.
and they make the game like hyper fucking easy by paying for it. And I don't like that approach to DLC for this series, and they've for the most part done it since Awakening, and it's just like, I kind of want them to stop with this stuff. But it must sell clearly because they've been doing it for 4 games now.
Yeah, it's Fire Emblem. I think I would go on record to say like this is probably like secretly Nintendo's like second highest grossing selling IP.
Oh,
Second
for
or
sure,
third.
dude. Fire Emblem is, I think, would surprise people. It's not that big. I mean, obviously, like Animal Crossing's bigger, Mario Kart's bigger, Zelda's
Yeah.
bigger. I mean, like,
I put Mario Kart in the Mario realm, but like
but if we're getting out of the
honestly,
stratosphere, we're getting out of the stratosphere, right? That's like galaxy level for Nintendo. If you get back down to the
yeah.
lower tier, like outside of that, where you get to these other IPs, like Fire Emblem's probably at the top of that second tier, at this point.
I would say as far as pure money though, I don't think Zelda has that much. It sells a lot, yes. I don't think it's Fire Emblem numbers though. Like
Well,
continuous
Fire
money.
Emblem Heroes is the only reason that Fire Emblem would overtake Zelda as an IP.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like revenue,
Yeah,
I don't think it has a continuous
Breath of the
revenue
Wild
stream.
sold like 30 million copies, so it it's made a lot of money for Nintendo. Like, it was a big seller. Whereas Fire Emblem Engage is going to sell maybe 5, or at absolute most 10, which I don't think it will get anywhere near that. So
I'm
it's
just
yeah.
I'm just waiting for like the Fire Emblem dating sim, like a strictly dating
Straight up
sim
dating
type.
sim, bro. You know they
I'm
want to,
waiting for it,
dude.
bro.
They've wanted to do it forever. Okay, like Awakening and Fates was such an overt cry for help. I feel like where they want to make that game. They want to make that game. It's so bad. Like some of the stuff in those games is so fucking bad. Like, dude, Fates. I'm pretty sure it was in Fates where you like can bring somebody into your room and you can like touch them and they'll like react to you touching them and stuff. It's like super fucking weird, dude. Like, so they clearly have a desire to make that game. I feel like. I mean, I was listening to another podcast on the way home, and they talk about Fire Emblem Engage and how much of a they brought up Lumera and how much of a milf she is, and like that Fire Emblem was like a milf game now, and I was laughing because they've never played Heroes, and I'm like, bro, you have no idea. Like Fire Emblem Heroes is literally simp bait central at this point. Like this shit in that game is unbelievable what they've done to the female characters. It's like
And it's funny because the games I don't remember the older game before Awakening. I don't remember the games being like that, like at
sexualized?
all.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Dude, it didn't start happening until I would point to Fire Emblem Awakenings. I think it was Awakening had a beach DLC in the game where you could get like beach like bikini costumes for some of the female characters. And that was
Hmm.
like our first peek into that, you know. And I'm assuming that was hyper successful for Nintendo because then Fates, you kind of got some characters that were a little bit more sexualized. Like Camilla is like such a like is like absurd, you know, like the design of her. And then Heroes comes out, and dude, that was when they really leaned into it hard because I remember when the first summer characters came out, summer style, where they were wearing like swim trunks, swimsuits, you know, bikinis and stuff. And
Mm.
dude, it's just devolved into complete nonsensical insanity from there. Like you should like I'm pretty sure I mentioned this before, but everybody go look up the Winter Tharja Fire Emblem Heroes character and like go look at like art for her because it's just like it's so absurd. Like she's wearing a literal Santa bikini basically, and she's like an armor unit, you know, and it's supposed to be winter themed. Like she's not wearing any clothes basically. And then if you want to go even further into the rabbit hole, like how like degenerate this gets, go look at the damage art for Summer Robin. Um, where her bikini is literally ripped off of her body and she is literally naked in the art, but you can't see her nipples. Like that's it. Like they just cover the nipples and everything else is there. You know, it's just like it's totally crazy, dude. So, yeah, this franchise has just turned into like simp bait. I mean, I'll be honest. They mostly kept that out of the main games. Like Three Houses was pretty tame overall, I'd say for the most
Yeah.
part. This game is a little bit more overt with it. Like Lumera is ridiculous. Like Chloe, there's some stupid fucking characters in this game in terms of their body type and everything. But it's not that bad. Like I don't think it's like anything egregious. It's whatever. I think most people will probably just ignore it and move on with their lives. But yeah, like I don't know. So getting back to the DLC, Wave 2 is coming. I think it's actually already out today, was what they said. So by the time you hear this, it will be out already at that point. And then the story DLC is coming later in the year. No specific release date. I don't know if I'm going to check it out or not. I never even played the one for Three Houses. So I don't know. It's like they always do this with their games where they add these story DLCs, and it's like, dude, I'm just not a fan of post launch story content. Like I've played the game and beaten it, you know, and put it down like months ago. You know, I don't really have this crazy desire to go back, you know, personally. So
Yeah. I don't know. I think I never really got the Fire Emblem DLC, so I might skip out on the DLC. But it's good that it's there, I guess.
mm-hmm. All right, let's move on. Next game shown was Don't Nod. Or sorry, Don't Nod. The studio is making a game called Harmony: The Fall of Reverie. I don't know much to say about this one. You?
No, I don't. Unfortunately, it looks cool though.
Yeah, it looks interesting. It's again, I'm not sure this is my kind of game at this point. So, um, but okay, moving on. Octopath Traveler 2. Um, believe we already have a release date for it. But it is getting a demo, which is out today as well. So by the time you hear this, you'll be able to play it. Which I'm not sure what it. They didn't really say what it will let you play, like how long. It's probably a timed demo where you can do whatever you want, but you only have like 3 hours of playtime. More than likely, something like that, I would assume. But I mean, looks like Octopath Traveler. I don't know.
I mean, this is more your realm of stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. Like the first game, I played it for like 15, 20 hours, and I think I got kind of bored of it ultimately and put it down. I mean, the thing is with these type of turn-based RPGs, they kind of lose me pretty quick if they're not really engaging from a story perspective, because I don't find that traditional Dragon Quest style gameplay super riveting. It's just not. It just doesn't appeal to me that much, you know. It's something I learned pretty early on in my life. I don't like those style of games. So if you're gonna keep me playing, like I need a story hook, and Octopath Traveler, unfortunately, just was not interesting enough in that regard. So I'm not super interested in this one, Octopath Traveler 2, because I had this experience with Square Enix. I think it was last year or 2 years ago. I think it was last year with Bravely Default 2, where I played that for I don't know 25 hours probably, and I just dropped it, dude, like and stopped playing it. You know, I never went back and beat it, and I don't plan on it anytime soon. So I think this one is probably going to be a I'll wait for a sale game if I ever do play it ultimately. So
Okay.
all right, next game on the list is We Love Katamari Reroll plus Royal Reverie. Montrell, have you ever played a Katamari game?
No, unfortunately, I haven't. Wasn't that on the PSP? Right?
PS2.
A PS2. Okay, I thought it was on a PSP.
Yep. And I'll be honest with you, dude. Katamari is fucking fun. Actually, it is a fun series. I've only played it once, but the time I did play it, I had a lot of fun with it. I think it's a really funny concept and silly. It's a silly franchise, but it's a cool game. I definitely think it's worth checking out. And yeah, I think it's coming on. What was the date they gave us? June 2nd is when it's coming, and there's going to be a trial for it in a couple weeks that you'll be able to check it out potentially. So,
Okay.
all right, moving on. The next game shown was a game called Sea of Stars, which is another game getting a demo that's out by the time you hear this, and this game's coming on August 29th. This looks to be an RPG of sorts, and it looks pretty sick. Kind of looks like a
Yes.
yeah. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, yeah, it looks pretty cool. Almost looks like a Chrono Trigger style
Yeah,
RPG.
yeah, yeah. And the art
Uh,
style kind of reminds me of like Fantasy Star
old
almost.
school Fantasy Star.
Yeah,
Yeah,
old school Fantasy Star. Yeah, from like the Super NES era.
yeah.
It's kind of what it reminds me of. So yeah, this one looks pretty good. I think if you're into that style of game, I think you definitely want to check this one out for sure. Um, all right, next game, something called Omega Strikers.
All right. Can we be honest?
Yeah.
I looked up the numbers for this. This game's actually already been out on the Steam.
Okay.
Um, it was in beta. And it doesn't have that. Its peak was at 20,000 players, around 20,000 players. There's only like 5 players playing it now, 5 or 6 players playing it
Wait,
now. Uh,
five, like single
Five
digits.
or six, yeah. When I checked, it may have peaked now because like they just did the direct on it.
Yeah.
But when I checked it, it was like super low.
Okay.
Um, I feel bad for games like this. It looks really cool. I think they should be supported by a studio like maybe Nintendo or something like that, and have a disc like an actual release of the game
Yeah.
and have people buy it.
Yeah.
Because this is a free to play game, and unfortunately, what
Mm.
we're going to talk about today were the depth of like 15,
Why is it
almost
free to
20.
play?
I don't know.
Charge $10 for it. I don't 15 or something. Why is it
Yeah,
free to
so
play? That's weird. That's a weird
yeah, it's
model
free to
for
play.
this game.
Yeah, it's free to play. And I'll just be honest with you. I think this is the last wave of free to play games, and I kind of feel bad for this game because the game looks really cool. But yeah, I think after we just saw the mass exodus of free to play games, I don't see this game lasting till
Yeah,
next year,
yeah.
unfortunately.
You're probably right. This might be its last gasp for, to save itself. Basically, they're hoping maybe
Yeah,
Switch can save it, but I don't know. Switch has become like so bloated, dude, with games that I don't think that kind of strategy works anymore. Unfortunately for these indies, but
yeah.
all right, moving on. Next game shown was Etrian Odyssey Origins Collection. Have you ever played an Etrian Odyssey game?
Nope. And when they showed the gameplay, I knew exactly why I hate first person JRPGs.
Me too. I hate these games. Dude.
I hate them
I
so fucking
fucking
much.
hate them. It's a dungeon crawler, like old school, like
Yeah,
fucking Heroes in the Darkness, shit like that,
yeah,
or like those old school PC ones, from back in the
yep,
day. And I'm like,
yep.
nah, I'm good.
It reminded me of that old screensaver that you see on that you used to see it from Windows, like
Yeah.
how it goes to the
Hmm.
dungeon and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's what it
Yeah.
reminded me of.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's why I never played Mother. Uh, if anyone doesn't know, that's what the game where Ness is from.
Yeah.
Uh, I never played the Mother games because of that. Like when I found out that it was a first person JRPG, which when I mean by first person is all three of your characters are behind the screen.
Lufia
However,
style. Yeah.
yeah, and then your enemy is in front of you, so there are no animations going. There are animations, but they're just like
It's just
splash
like
starts like
fucking 2D sprites just wiggling when they get hit.
exactly. So I'm not a big fan of it, but a lot of people
Yeah.
are. But yeah, it's just not for me. So
Yeah.
that's why I kind of was like, oh, okay. It looked cool when they showed like the trailers and everything, and I was like, oh, never mind.
Oh
Yikes.
no. Well, yeah. The
Yeah.
only one of these I've ever actually liked was Lufia. That's the only one I could ever stomach back in the day. When I was like really young and I was first getting into games, I was like
Mhm.
really into one of the Lufia games. I forget which one it was, but I played the shit out of that game. I remember it being in the final dungeon, dude, and I was just grinding like a motherfucker, dude. Like I don't know why either. I just was so into it back then, but yeah. All right, moving on. Next thing was Advance Wars 1-2 Reboot Camp. Is coming on April 21st. I don't know if you have much more to say about this.
Yeah, we
Um,
already talked about it. So
but I mean, I've never played these games, so I am excited. They didn't really show any gameplay either, so we'll, you know, we have what they showed before, so it looks pretty good.
yeah, exactly.
All right. Next thing was Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe, another Kirby game. Montreal is just Kirby out of Nintendo.
I mean, I would too. You see how fast this fucking game sold?
Shit sells, man. Yeah, no, Kirby sells, bro. I mean, I'm not. You're not wrong.
Yeah, so he's one of those hidden figures that I didn't know like people like actually liked. So
Yeah, me either, dude.
uh
I just thought Kirby was like whatever, man, like blah.
yeah,
The only reason I knew about him was Smash Brothers, like.
exactly. That same. And then
Yeah,
his games start coming out and everybody would just start buying him. I know he's a real popular hit with like, uh people like the female variety and everything like that, but damn, I just didn't know like his games sell that much.
I'm
So
sure kids too,
yeah.
honestly, but yeah. Um, that is coming on February 24th, so very very soon. You'll have it in a couple weeks from when you hear this. Next thing they showed was Game Boy and Game Boy Advance games are coming to Nintendo Switch Online. And Montreal, I don't know, dude. I've been like
Yo,
debating about
it
subscribing to this
this
and
this one has sold me because I think they got Metroid
Metroid
Fusion.
2.
I
Metroid
know
2.
there's another list. There's another list that leaked that says like Metroid Fusion is going to be on the list, and
Oh shit.
Yeah, Metroid Fusion and then Golden Sun. I don't know if you
Well, they
played that.
showed a bunch of games after they were showing like the few games they were showing like Tetris and stuff. And in
Mhm.
that list, there was Zelda DX. Let's see, let me get to the end here. Kirby's Dream Land, which is the original Kirby game. Zelda, Oracle Seasons, Oracle Ages, the Pokemon trading card game, the video
Yeah.
game, dude. That was the one that got me hyped for the Game Boy side, and then Game Boy Advance. Yeah, they had Golden Sun. Hold on, let me get to the end of that too. They had Golden Sun. I think they had Fire Emblem, F-Zero, Metroid Fusion was in there as well. I was like, holy shit, dude! They're like pulling out. They're like not pulling any punches, dude. Like it's crazy. Like Golden Sun's fucking in there. I was like hyped, dude. I haven't played Golden Sun in forever.
No,
But
man.
I love to know that Nintendo didn't forget about that franchise because it is a super those two games, Golden Sun and Golden Sun: The Lost Age, are like incredible JRPGs, dude. So, but
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, it makes sense why they went after these ROM sites. I mean, you can still find them guys if you really want to play them.
Mhm.
Uh, but it does make sense why they went through these ROM sites because they had this in the bag.
Mhm.
Um, they did say you can play this offline. I think, right? You don't have to be online to
Yeah,
play
but they
these,
also
right?
said some of the games can be played online, which is cool. Um,
Okay.
with your friends only, not like not like multiplayer matchmaking, but
Hmm.
some of the games that had multiplayer, that had like local multiplayer back in the day, can be played online with this too. So yeah, I don't know, dude. I've been thinking about subscribing to this for the N64 games, and now, dude, they're starting to add value. It's just like, oh my god, this is like actually a good subscription service now. And I'm like, it's
I'm gonna
just
give it one more
yeah.
year, but yeah, it's actually getting really good. Like
Well,
they're up
dude,
there now.
the Fire Emblem that you're talking about, that you always talk about, the one on Game Boy Advance, that's coming out on here. So, you'll get to play that this way.
Man, don't say that,
And that,
man.
dude, that Fire Emblem was, I think, many of our introductions to Fire Emblem. That was the first one we ever got in the US.
Mhm.
And it's a classic Fire Emblem. Like, it is so good. That is such a good, pure Fire
That's a
Emblem
good
game.
fire up. Yeah.
Dude, no, it's great. Like it's kind of what I was talking about with Engage. Like it is just a pure Fire Emblem game where it's literally like there's no interstitials between the chapters. You just go from map to map. That's it. There's nothing to do between battles, bro. Like you just go from battle to battle, and that's the game. And it's like I love that shit. I miss how simple that was back in the day. So, all right, moving on. Okay. This was the next thing I thought Montrell might have freaked out about. The next thing I'm going to talk about is Metroid Prime is getting a remaster and it's coming on Switch. And that's not the reason I thought Montrell freaked out. It was the fact that it came out today. It's out now. By the time you listen to it, you can buy it digitally, like and play it right now on Switch. So this
I
one
was
actually got me hyped too. Dude,
I didn't know you were a Metroid fan, like a Metroid
no,
Prime
I'm not
fan.
a Metroid
So
fan. But Metroid Prime, dude, Metroid Prime is a specific game from a specific time that this game is so fucking special. I like it is one of my favorite games I've ever fucking played. Like it is insane how special this game was back when it came out. Like it blew my mind, bro. Like as a gamer, I could
I
not
will.
believe how good this game was. Like,
So this is my confession, y'all.
yeah.
This is my confession. This was my first Metroid game, and I went back and played every other Metroid game after I played Prime because I
Mhm.
just could not believe how good this game was.
Yeah, I'm
I
not
played
so
this game
yeah.
for fucking hours,
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
hours.
Yeah.
And I feel like if I play it again today, it's gonna do the same thing because the game was so fucking immersive, bro. There's like
It
low
is.
playing music.
Yep.
You can scan in environments.
Everything. You can scan so much shit. It'll give you this whole like lore entry about whatever it is. It might be irrelevant to the game. Like it's not important at all. But it like, dude, you could like literally learn about the plants, like the fucking animals, like enemies and shit. It's just like it's fucking awesome, dude. Like it is
Yeah,
immersive is like the perfect word for this game. Like it is so immersive. They captured something here that I just like it's so hard for video games to capture. Like there's just an atmosphere with Metroid Prime that very few games can actually pull off.
yeah. I I can't describe this. I can't wait for people who never played Metroid Prime to play
Mhm.
this game because they're
Yeah.
probably gonna be in awe like we were. Like even if the controls are dated or whatever, like it's just and you're like, oh well, I'm not jumping around like fucking Doom guy, and it's like that's not the point. The point is, it's just a fucking fun ass game.
Yeah.
The puzzles are good. Everything is good. Like this was a 10. Like this was a
Absolutely.
10
It's
game.
still a 10.
Like it's this was a 10, bro. Like I
No, it's
can't
still a 10. It's definitely still a 10.
like and this is what they have to live up to because this game with Metroid Prime 4 they have to live up to this shit. And I'm sorry, y'all. They
Yeah.
have to
Yeah.
because this game was like crazy good. This is what put retro on the map. This
Mhm.
game.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it was the first game I knew of theirs. But yeah, like Metroid. So Metroid for me, like Prime is like amazing. I love Prime. The thing for me is I'm not a 2D platformer guy. I don't like 2D
Yeah,
platformers. So the other Metroid games never clicked with me. I've tried them, but I
yeah.
tried to play Super Metroid and bro, it's just not good. Like I just don't think it's a good game. Like it just doesn't feel good to play. And that is my opinion on it. You can disagree or
I w-
whatever,
I w-
but
I will say, by the time I played Metroid Prime, uh, they had already recreated Metroid One and Super Metroid.
yeah.
Oh no, they didn't recreate Super Metroid 2 yet, but they did recreate Metroid 1. And it was Summon Zero mission or her first
Mhm.
mission.
Yeah.
So they recreated that and with like current controls of Metroid Prime or Metroid Fusion. And Metroid Fusion, I think, have you played that one? That one's really
No.
good.
No.
That one's on the Game Boy Advance,
Which I
and I
might
love
now
that
that it's
one.
on here, I might try it as well if
Yeah,
I get the Switch
that was
thing.
actually my first 2D Metroid I played, and that game captured almost the same thing with this game. You can't scan shit and everything, but the environment, you had something called Samus X constantly not constantly chasing you, but her presence was like known throughout the map,
Yeah.
throughout the
Yeah.
entire game. It
Mhm.
was just really fucking cool what they did with that game. So I don't
Mhm.
know.
Yep. Yep.
The Metroid games are just really fucking cool. In general to me.
But yeah,
So
Prime. Play Prime, guys. If you have not played
yeah.
Metroid Prime, fucking play it. It is one of the best games ever made. Like
And we're not exaggerating. I'm not being
not.
like, a
I'm not.
boomer. I'm not
Nope.
being a boomer gamer. Like,
Nope.
no, this game is legitimately fucking good. Like, I still watch videos of it and watch other people play it, and I'm like, "Ah, this shit was so fucking good.
No, and I
Like,
haven't
I
played
keep,
Prime. I haven't played Prime in years, and I'm literally thinking about buying it after we're done playing it.
oh,
Like,
I'm going to buy it.
yeah,
I'm going to be on the
I'm
plane playing this shit. You know?
fuck me, dude. It's been so long since I played it, dude, and I'm just thinking about that. You know, the second area you go to, the snow area, like how like fucking atmospheric it is.
And it
But
kind of
like,
opens up right there. Like that.
well,
I think that's the
it is right because you start in the jungle area, or what I guess you would call the jungle area, and then you
yeah.
go through an internal cave system that's like the fiery area or whatever,
Yep.
like it's like a lava area, and then you come out into the into that snow area, and yeah, the game does open up there because you get your second. I think you get the second weapon there, and
Yep.
that opens the fucking map up after you get the second weapon. And yeah, the game is fucking just so it's just so good. There's like a whole underwater section, and it's not a bad underwater section. Like it's fucking good. Like it's crazy. This Metroid Prime is like just unbelievable, and it's like
It's
they give
peak
you some of
game
those old
design.
2D sections though with the morph ball portions that you
Yeah.
get to do. It's like, dude, it's just I don't know. They were
No,
fucking on something, dude, when they made that game. Like
no, it's peak game design. That is peak game design at its finest.
Mhm.
Like I can't even describe it to y'all.
Yeah.
Like that game's really fucking good, yo.
Yeah, I think it. I think it would surprise people because yeah, I just like I've never like ever that much your game. Never played any of them. Metroid Prime is the only one I've really played like in depth,
To
and
be
yeah,
honest, like that's kind of like the best one out of
that's
the
kind of why I know that, and I'm like that's kind of why I've never played any of the other ones. I'm like, why? Why do I need to go down from here? I just don't like. It's like I already hit the peak. It's I don't know. So, all right. So, anyways, You can get it digitally now. When you're hearing this, there will be a physical version coming out in a couple weeks. If you want to wait for
I
it.
will be a degenerate as well. I'm gonna buy the physical version too.
Okay, you're gonna buy it twice. I mean,
Yeah,
do it. Metroid.
I gotta
To be
support.
honest,
I gotta support Metroid.
yeah, the funny part about Metroid is, as much as many games as we gotten for Metroid, it is not a hot selling franchise for Nintendo. It never has been. And so yeah, support the hell out of it. um, okay, moving on. Next game shown was from the creator of Danganronpa, in Spike Chunsoft, Master Detective Archives Raincode, which we've seen this game before. And I gotta say, dude, I don't know, dude. It's coming on June 30th. This game looks fucking dope. Like every time I see it, the more I see it, the more convinced I am that I probably need to play this game. Like it looks
Yeah,
really
no,
cool.
it does look really cool. When I saw it, I was like, "Oh shit! Like this actually looks really fucking good." So I think I might pick it up as well.
But yeah,
Yeah,
for those of you who don't know, it's like a detective game of sorts, but you're trying to like solve a mystery and like reveal hidden information. But it has a very distinct style to it, very Japanese looking. But it looks really cool overall. So
like I can already hear people say like, "Oh my god, it's just like Persona."
yeah, I see that too, right? Yeah, you see that too. Because they're all just hanging around like a bar, just like Persona 5, and it's a bunch
Yeah.
of these like kids, that all look weird and zany.
Like the comments right here, like I never played a Danganronpa style game, but this reminds me of Persona 5. I can't wait. Oh my
Mm-hmm.
god, bro!
Yeah.
Please get off Persona's nuts. I mean, Persona's good, y'all, but Jesus Christ. Anyway,
It's
yeah,
not everything needs to be compared to it though.
exactly. I did play the original Danganronpa, and I watched the anime, and I love
Mm-hmm.
everything about it. So,
Yep.
uh, yeah, can't
All
wait
right.
to play it.
Moving on. Next thing, I thought this was the thing. This was the thing. When I was going through this, I finally got here and I was like, okay, this is the thing Montrell was freaking out about. There's no question, right? And I ended up being wrong about that to my surprise. But I literally, I'm gonna be frank with you guys. I was sitting at the office. I'd clocked out for the day. I'm watching this at my desk and no one's around, but I'm like, dude, I fucking lost it. Like I whooped when I saw the broken wing of Callus, and I just like legitimately literally got like teared up with tears of joy. I like got teared up. Like I cannot believe this is real. I never ever ever believed we would ever see these games again. Like Nintendo has ignored them for 20 years, and those games are BATEN KAITOS 1 and 2 HD remaster. So they're not actually 1 and 2. BATEN KAITOS 1 is called BATEN KAITOS Eternal Wings and
Origins
the
or
Lost
Eternal Wing.
Oceans.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the first one that came out. BATEN KAITOS Origins is the one that came out after, and it's a prequel to the game, to the first game. But they're calling them BATEN KAITOS 1 and 2 for whatever reason. So, but they look relatively unchanged. They just look a little bit like they're upresed and they look more crisp, which is great because a lot of this game's, especially the 2D art in this game, is beautiful as is. And I don't think they really needed to do anything to it other than make it look, clear and crisp. But dude, oh my god, I can't believe they're doing this, dude. I'm so fucking excited, man. Oh my god. I haven't played BATEN KAITOS 1 and 2, either of these games, and it's been over 10 years. I can't believe I'm saying that, but yeah, it's been a long fucking time.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm looking at the environments, and they did exactly what I thought they were going to do. The environments were on a 3D scale. They just upres them.
Yeah.
So, I knew that's what they were going to do. But yeah, this game, I don't know. Man. I think people are going to fucking hate us on this game. I
Well,
think people are going to hate this game, because this
yeah.
game is one of those games where it's Xenoblade, not Xenoblade as far as combat, but Xenoblade as far as uh how you get the most of the combat. The combat doesn't get fast until like midway through the game, or
Mm,
maybe like even 25% into the game, combat starts getting fast. But if you're just going off the first combat thing, you're like, oh my god, this is ass. It's so slow. Oh my buddy, that shit picks up because it's real time, and the enemy can attack you multiple times while you're trying to decide what the fuck you want to do. So it's like,
Well,
I
you
don't know,
also have
man.
to use cards to defend as well. Um, and it's actually really difficult to do if you're not paying attention. You're too busy thinking about your next move. And yeah, so this is a game, this is kind of the beginning of Monolith's style of layering mechanics as you play the game. Because there's a concept in this game that every character, the first game, I'm talking about the first game. There's a concept where every character has a class, and you get an item over the course of the game for each of the characters to upgrade their class a level, basically, which makes your deck bigger. You get to put more cards in your card deck, and then you get to play more cards when it's your turn as well. However, what they do is that this is how they make the game harder, and they actually legitimately do make the game a lot fucking harder with this. It's actually pretty bonkers. Is when you start the game, you have an unlimited timer to take your turn. There's no time limit, and this is a turn-based game, so the enemy, I believe, will not attack you while it's your turn.
Okay,
So
I remember them
Origins
doing it,
is
but
is what you're talking about. I think Origins is real
okay.
time, where it's not turn to turn, like it's more ATB style.
Hmm.
So the enemies will attack you while you're trying to take your turn. But yeah, in the first game, so you have an unlimited timer at first, and then as you level the class up, they introduce a timer, and that timer gets smaller and smaller and smaller the higher level you go. So yes, you get more powerful and you get to play more cards, but you get less time to decide what to play. And that can become very difficult in the late game, where I believe it goes down to 12 seconds or 10 seconds even, and you have to play 9 cards at a maximum. And the reason this is difficult in the game is that every card has either some kind of letter or number on them. And you need to put these numbers together to form poker hands, basically, like a straight, three of a kind, two of a kind, things like that, or like a flush or something like that. Like that will give you damage multipliers. So not having time makes it harder to process. You need to process your hand really quickly, where you'll get, like, let's say you have like a 1, a 3, and a 5 in your hand. So you play the 1 first, and then you draw a 2 after you play the 1, because you draw a card immediately after you play 1. You draw a 2. You have to, like, realize that and play the 2, then play the 3. And then if you
Hmm.
drew a 4, you gotta hit the 4. It's like to maximize your damage. So there's kind of a mini game within the combat that you're trying to accomplish. It's not just playing the cards. That is what you're doing. So this game has a really unique combat system, and it's really fucking awesome, dude. So it's, but to your point, Montreal, I do think it's a game that I don't think would be for everybody. As much as we love it and like we crow about it all the time, like it's kind of a specific kind of taste. If you're into card games, I do think you would like this kind of game, because you do get to build a deck. Like you literally curate your own deck with each character, and make it yourself. And it is really fun to see that play out in the combat. So
Yeah, I just feel like a lot of people are just not going to jive well with it. They're going, oh, this is a terrible JRPG and everything.
mhm.
But then there are a lot of people who like that Kingdom Hearts game. Which one was it?
Chain of Memories.
The, yeah, Chain of Memories. So I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
Oh, God damn it. I'm trying to find a list of characters because I can't remember. Oh, Guilo, yeah. So the character in Origins, the one in the middle that's like a weird robot that's like fucking dancing. It's just so goofy looking, dude. It's like so fucking funny to me, man. Like I'm like, why? Like JRPGs are so weird. Like, why are the characters doing that shit? Like why
Yeah.
do they do that? Like they just have these poses that they're like fucking like dancing, in the middle of a fight. It's like so funny, dude. But the music in this game also is fucking killer, by the way. So there's another
Oh,
reason to play it.
one thing. Like Justin said before, he said it plenty of times. If you're listening, play the game in Japanese, please.
Mm-hmm.
Unless they remaster the voices, which I don't think they want to do. So,
Yeah, they might. I could see that. I mean, the idea that this was this has been taking so long to come. I could see them having redone the voice work, because the voice work in the original game is awful. Particularly the first game. The second game is less bad. I think it was more like tolerable, but yeah, the first game is miserably bad. Like it's not even bad, just bad delivery. It's literally like the voice quality, the audio quality is terrible. Like they were using fucking mics you could buy at like Walmart, like that's what it sounds like. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, but coming in this summer, we
Yeah.
don't have an exact date. So,
If you ask like a really hardcore JRPG enthusiast, like, what's your top 10 JRPGs? Guaranteed they're gonna pull this one out of their ass at like number 9 or 10. You're like, what the fuck is that? I never heard of that game.
mm-hmm.
And it's like, there's a reason you never heard of it because it wasn't like as popular. But
Right.
when I got the game, I was just like, I didn't know. It took me 3 times to play this game, to be
Yeah.
honest with you, when I first
Yeah.
got it, because it was just so weird.
They
But
got
once I
me
stuck with
immediately,
it,
dude. They got me immediately. I was so into this.
but yeah, that is another reason I just stopped texting you. I didn't text you. I actually like muted you because I didn't want to text you anymore. Because I was
Okay,
like, yo, this
that
shit is
makes sense.
crazy.
That makes sense. Yeah, no, because it like ratcheted up, dude. It started with the Xenoblade thing, and then it went to Metroid, and then it went to this, and I was like, oh my god, this direct is crazy. Like it's like they made a direct for me and you. Like I think we said that same thing last year, but they've one up that whatever they announced last year. Like this is it, bro. BATEN KAITOS 1 and 2, Montrell and I have been like fucking like praying for this for so long, dude. Like I have wanted this. You know how many rumors we have had over the years of a BATEN KAITOS remake or a remaster or a new game like that have come out over the last, I'm not even fucking with you guys, like 15 years. Like it is insane. And they've never been true. None of them have ever been true. That's why I was hyper skeptical when we talked about this few weeks ago.
Well, I
But
didn't know the game was owned by Bandai Namco. That could have been another reason,
yeah,
like a licensing issue.
yeah, yeah,
So I
yeah.
didn't know that.
But you damn well know though, if there's a physical version of this, I'm fucking buying it. So
I'm pretty sure they're gonna have like some kind of little collector's edition.
they
Of it.
gotta have it, dude.
I wonder they don't have the statue because the character designs are so fucking cool.
Well, the other thing I'll say about this too, I will say if you like Xenoblade for story, definitely check, especially the first game out. The story in the first game is really good, like really, actually, really good. So, all right,
Nice.
let's keep going, Montreal. We got a few more things to get through, and we're going a little long here. So, next thing they showed was Fantasy Life, the Girl Who Steals Time, which is another level 5 game, and this is a follow up to Fantasy Life that they came out a few years ago, I believe. I think that was on 3DS, I want to say. But any interest for this one for you?
It actually does look interesting. I might pick it up when it goes on sale or something.
Yeah.
It does look interesting. It looks like a cross between Animal Crossing and
Yep.
a modern or a JRPG. So
Kind
I
of
might
like
pick it up.
Rune Factory or something like that.
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
comparison actually.
Yep. And okay, after that, we got another level 5 announcement, and I will say this one got a little bit of a whoop from me too because it's been a while. They showed a tease for a new Professor Layton game. Professor Layton in the New World of Steam. You ever play a Layton game? The Layton games?
No, I haven't.
Okay, there's a lot of them, and I've really only played the first one or two. But they are puzzle games, like straight up puzzle games. Like I'm not like when I say puzzle, I'm not fucking with you guys. Like it's not like fucking God of War puzzles where you're like pushing blocks around. No, it's literally like they give you like math problems to solve, like word problems.
Oh
Like
shit!
it's crazy fucking shit. It is so good. Like it's like a truly like will challenge your intelligence level of challenge with these games. So if you're into that kind of thing, like check the Layton games out because there's a ton of them from the DS and 3DS eras. But I highly recommend them because it's not only puzzles, but there's a mystery within each game that you're trying to solve ultimately, and it's kind of like an adventure game style where you're kind of walking around like a town or a city or an environment. and you're like talking to people, and you need to get items to like unlock a different area, and then figure out what the mystery is, solve the mystery. So they're very cool games. The fact that we're getting another one is cool because it's been a while. I don't think they've released one in a while, like several years. So cool to see that franchise is back. And then Nintendo, of course, wanting to troll people. More Mario Kart 8 Deluxe DLC Wave 4 is coming.
Oh my god, bro.
Birdo is coming as a character.
Wait, really?
Y'all are never getting another Mario Kart game.
I
Yes,
thought they
Birdo.
already added her.
Nope.
So,
She's never been a part of it. There's actually a new track too, a new Yoshi's Island track, it looks like, which actually looks really fucking cool.
bro, I'm not getting this game.
No, me either. I've owned it 2 different times, and I think I sold it both times because no one will play it with me. And
Because it's too sweaty online. You played it online? It's
that is
incredibly
exactly
sweaty.
why I don't play it alone, because it is sweaty as fuck, dude. Like, it's crazy. These people are psychos. Like, it's Mario Kart, dude. Like, I just want to throw a blue shell at you, but I guess that implies that I'm losing really badly. So, never mind. All right. After that was the last thing, and it was Zelda. Well, actually, nope, this one, Blanc from Gearbox. This was like a montage. That's right. So there was Blanc from Gearbox. Have a Nice Death. Let's see what was next. Baseball game. Disney Dreamlight Valley. Let's see, Tales of Symphonia remaster. They showed the Mega Man Battle Network collection
Mm-hmm.
as well. So there's a bunch of games coming out in the next couple months. If you want to look forward to those. And then after that was our final thing, was a new Zelda trailer for Zelda Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. What did you think of this one? Did this show you anything more than the last one?
It did. Not as much as I wanted it to
Yeah,
see,
same.
which I guess this is to be expected. I mean, that's all. This is all they really need to show. I think they're going to show maybe one more trailer, like in April or something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Before the game finally releases in May. But I mean, I like the aesthetic of the game. Looks a little bit more darker and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but since I didn't beat one, I got 75% through one. I don't know the ending, so I'm just gonna go back and finish one.
Yeah,
Um,
I need to do that. I don't. It's just I think the thing for me that they didn't show, and I don't know if they're going to though, is what are they bringing back from the first game? Because like, are they bringing the weapon durability back? Are they bringing like, are we going to have the same style of thing where there's no dungeons really, or are we going to be doing a bunch of shrines? The way we did in the first game, or is this game going to be completely different? Because it also takes place in Hyrule, and that's the thing that's kind of confusing me. Is like it's the same land, so like, what are they doing to it? Like, are they going to transform it in some way where it's like totally radically changed? Um, or are they going to have the same map and just layer a bunch of shit on top of it? So I don't
I
know.
actually don't know. I mean, it looks like from what the trailer showed, like he drops down and you're on the original land of Hyrule, but
Yeah.
then there's some more land because there was a land in the sky before, or
Yes.
maybe a couple islands in the
Right.
sky.
Yep.
But it looks like there's going to be even more islands in the sky. But yeah, I I hope they don't do the shrine concept. If they do, right, they can have a little bit of both. Like this is what I hope. This is my dream Zelda. Like I love the open world of Breath of the Wild.
Hmm.
I just wanted more dungeons because I
Hmm.
felt like I didn't have a purpose when I was playing the game. That makes any sense. It
Yeah.
was just weird how that game was structured. Um, but yeah, I did like the bite sized shrines because it's like portable and on the go. Like, oh, I can do a couple of these and then go off the plane, or I can do a couple
Hmm.
of these and then get on the bus, or I can do a couple of these and then drive
Yeah.
home or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, but then when I was at home, it was like, all right, I want to play like an actual full fledged dungeon now, and I never got that. I guess the mythical the divine beasts rather were those dungeons. I just didn't feel like they were big enough dungeons.
I hated their aesthetic too. It
Yeah.
was I don't know. They weren't dungeons
Um.
in the traditional sense either, with like, door keys and chess keys and all that,
Yeah.
like the boss room
Yeah.
key. Like they didn't have in the compass, like they didn't have that old school stuff in there.
And I mean maybe that's just us being boomers as far as that. I don't know. But what I do want is maybe like bigger shrines, like make the shrines a little bit more challenging. If that makes any sense. I just want the game to be a little bit more
Yeah,
difficult.
rather than like if you're gonna do the shrines again, rather than have them be like a single challenge, where you're just trying to figure out like one specific puzzle for the most part, like make it more like almost like mini dungeons, like 4 or 5 rooms, maybe make like 30 of them, instead of 120, you know, and
Yeah.
have them have a little bit more depth than they did in Breath of the Wild. So I don't know. It's weird. I think that the other thing is the weapon durability thing. I would imagine like with how much feedback they got, I would be surprised if they put that in the same exact way it was in Breath of the Wild.
I don't think they. I don't. They might. They might.
Yeah.
They might put it in there like that. So I'm not. I'm not too sure.
But with how much praise they got when it initially released, yeah, did they learn anything? Who
It
knows?
would be up. The earnest would be on them to improve the game. They
Yeah.
would have to literally be like, "Hey, okay, this is what we noticed playing the game because we
Mhm.
didn't really get any honest feedback otherwise."
Yeah. Yeah.
Because to be honest with you, if feedback did come out, it was drowned out or shunned
Mhm.
away, or people were maybe just too afraid to say anything. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah. Right.
um, yeah.
All right. Well, it is still coming in May, so look forward to that. But otherwise, that was it, Montreal. We took forever to get through this Nintendo Direct. But anything else you want to talk about before we go today?
Nope, that's it.
I guess. How'd you feel about it overall, though? Was it strong?
It was a strong direct. It was a really strong direct. I think if you were a Zelda fan, you were definitely disappointed, in my opinion. I don't think y'all got anything. I know a lot of people were like waiting for some kind of Zelda news. To me, in my opinion, this is kind of weak. Um, but yeah, I mean, y'all got some news though.
Yeah.
At the end,
Yeah.
Uh, and to make us wait 40 minutes for this, in my opinion, I was like, that's all the gameplay we get. We don't get a full like God of War esque rundown
Hmm.
of the game. So I'm hoping maybe, like I said, they do another direct. Cause I want to say they didn't do this for the Breath of the Wild, the first one, but they did it
No,
for
Breath of
another
the Wild was
game.
the total opposite, dude. They showed that game like crazy before it came out. Like it was nuts.
Okay, yeah, like I'm hoping they do it. Because I want to say, did they do this for Xenoblade Chronicles 3 where they had like it wasn't the
Yes.
entire direct, but they
No, they
broke
did.
down. I
It was
was
they
in
had like a 15-20 minute direct.
okay, yeah. I'm hoping they do that. They have to do this for. If they did it for Xenoblade, they have to do
I
it
just
for
don't think they feel
Zelda.
like they need to. That's the thing.
That's
I think they're
insane to
gonna hold
me.
it because, dude, if this is the second trailer and this is all we got, like they didn't show anything in my opinion. They barely showed. They barely gave us much at all to really like talk about. Which is, I mean, it's fine, but I'm with you. Like as somebody who wasn't like a mega fan of Breath of the Wild, I'm not really convinced that I want this game right now. You know. Um. So I need to see more
Yeah,
personally.
it looks cool. It looks like you can do some like building with stuff and actually build objects and travel with those objects. But I would need more gameplay to understand what's going on with that.
Hmm.
Like I just need more. To me, I just need more. This is not convincing enough to me to be like, yo. Oh, and then the biggest thing with the game is oh, okay. So this page says $59.99. I thought it was gonna be Nintendo's first $60 or $70 game.
Mm.
But then I read the article. The article I linked said other retailers had the store up. It's noteworthy that most. It's noteworthy. It's worth noting that those retailers had sitting at the $59.99 price point. Those were taken down though. Okay, so it is $60. It is $70.
Yeah.
So this is their first $70 game.
Mm.
So for me, I need to know a Switch game at $70. I need to know if it's like,
Hmm. That
what
would be
am I
too
buying?
much, man. I don't know. I don't
It,
think they can do
it,
that yet. I think they would need to wait for their new console.
no,
Personally,
this game is $70. It's
there's
on the sites.
no way on Amazon. Let me look.
It's on an official Nintendo site. Here, I'm about to link you to it right now. This is the official Nintendo site, Nintendo store site. Look in the Zencaster.
Okay. Nintendo Store product. Oh, wait a second. Damn, you're not kidding. Yeah, he's right. It's here. This isn't like a special edition or anything. It is just the game. Wow, they're
Yeah.
doing that, huh?
Yep.
Wow, Nintendo. I kind of don't like that. I mean, for a company whose games always retain their value, like for a long time, like Breath of the Wild right now is fucking still $50, dude. Like on Amazon.
Yeah, I
Like
know.
it's
I know.
like what the fuck, dude? It's been out for 6 years. Like, give me a break with that. Yeah, that's man, I don't like that. That's a questionable decision. But I think the other thing I'm noticing though, watching the trailer over again, is dude, there's a lot of just enemy recycling from the first game. Like a lot of the enemies are just in the game again. Like it's the same shit, like the moblins and stuff. Like there weren't a lot of new enemies that they showed in this trailer, and that to me is like hyper disappointing. Um, like that's crazy. Like that should not be a thing in my opinion. But
Maybe they're just trying to capture that. There was one clip that looked like it was Breath of the Wild 1. It was when he was jumping off the cliff and he did the, the
yeah,
hood thing.
yeah.
I thought that was Breath of the Wild 1. But maybe they're just trying to say like, "Hey, your favorite enemies are back." I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
know. I'm trying
sure.
to I'm trying so hard
You're
to be
trying to be
positive.
positive, yeah, yeah. No,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
dude, it is what it is. I mean, there was of course going to be some amount of recycling. It's just like but I don't know. It like, dude, I'm literally
It,
seeing like all the enemies from the first game are in this trailer almost. Like,
it
it's kind of
just
weird.
sucks, man, because this is my favorite
Yeah.
Link design. Like this is the best design Link
Oh, I
I've
know.
ever
I
seen.
love it, dude. The amiibo like looks fucking awesome, dude.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I really love his design. Outside of the classic like Ocarina of Time Link, like yeah,
Yeah.
I really like this design of Link as well, personally. But we'll see. I mean, I'm sure it's gonna be a really good game, but I think this is just a thing for both of us. We're kind of boomers with this, man. Like we want a certain thing out of Zelda, and I think this game is kind of the first game after Breath of the Wild, and to see what they do going forward. Like, is this just Zelda going forward? It's really important for me to find that out. Because it's possible it is, and Zelda's just kind of moved on from me. It's not for me anymore.
Man, that sucks when you say that.
Yeah,
But yeah. I
that
mean,
might be
to be
reality though.
fair, they have been following that Ocarina style combat or Ocarina style dungeon system for forever. So I guess it was time for a switch up.
Yeah, yeah. It's just I don't know. It's kind of one of those things though. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But I guess I get it. It's just like Skyward Sword was very divisive, and honestly was kind of like, it feels like the petering out of that Ocarina of Time style of game.
Yeah.
So I do get the desire to change it up drastically, with Breath of the Wild, but I don't think they needed to throw away as much as they threw away, you know, with Zelda.
I
So
agree with that. I mean, people will argue with you and they're gonna say like, well, the first Zelda was like this. It was open world completely. The very first Zelda on NES was almost damn
it's
near
not the
open
open
world.
world that's the problem, though. Like it's the other things that Zelda did or has done in the past that they just totally threw away and ignored.
Which was the dungeons.
Yeah.
For me, dungeons. It was
Well, it's like the progression of the game, dude, because they give you all the what I would call the equivalent of the dungeon items in Breath of the Wild, or the abilities they give you in the beginning of the game, the 4 abilities that you get, and they just
yeah.
give them to you all right away within 2 hours. It's like there's no progression there. And like that's my problem with the game, is like I don't feel like Link's getting any more powerful the more I play the game. It's like it's just I'm just running around doing random shit for no reason. It's like,
Then people are gonna say, "Well, you as the player are getting more powerful."
I mean, I guess, but it's literally because the game scales. Like, it's not because I'm doing anything. Like, I don't know. Like, Because, dude, like, again, you can go fight Ganon from the beginning, right? The second you get out, wake up. You can just go fight Ganon after you get the glider, and people have done it. It's like, I mean, obviously it's super hard and most players aren't going to do that, but the thing is, the point of that though is it kind of defeats the purpose of the game. Like, you're not unlocking anything to go fight Ganon. Like, when you're ready to go do it, you can just go do it. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't need any specific number of hearts or anything. Like, I don't need to do anything specific to unlock him. He's just unlocked. I can just go do it. Like that, to me, I appreciate what they were going for there, but I really dislike that choice in design, for the game, because it just takes away that progression that Zelda used to have. Is like, I don't like, again, I'm not saying, like, I know we are literally boomers with this. I get it, but it's like, I'm not saying that the game has to have 8 dungeons and you have to go in this specific order and you get this item at this dungeon, and it's like, rah, it's like this fucking gimmick. That's not really what I'm saying, but it's more of like, there does need to be a progression to the game though that has some amount of linearity to it. Like, I don't like how open it was. I don't like games like that, where it's so open ended, because it reminds me of like Minecraft, where it's like, you play Minecraft, you load into a Minecraft game, and what's the goal? What are you doing? There's no goal. Like, you just do whatever you want. And I know some people love that, and a lot of people love that. Millions of people fucking love that. Like, Minecraft's one of the most successful games ever. But I'm not that person, And Zelda was never that franchise, And for them to just turn it into that all of a sudden was like, it was too quick of a heel turn for me. And I didn't jive with it, as a result. So
Yeah, I understand. I mean, it's pretty much my same thing too, but
yeah.
I don't know. It is what it is. We're boomers. I'm 34 now, and I've accepted my place. But
Yeah.
I don't really debate with people even online anymore about video games. I just say, okay, man, you got it. I'll say my initial thoughts. Like, someone was talking about Echoes, and I was like, yeah, Echoes and Fates. Echoes, Fates, and Awakening are trash. And then someone was like, no, wait, Awakening's not trash. I'm like, all right, bro, you got it. And I just didn't argue back with them because I didn't feel like talking about it anymore.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it is what it is. That's kind of how I feel about a lot of stuff. So, like, the whole debate video games and Harry Potter and all the other shit like that. Like, I'm a boomer with this shit, man. I'm just like, all right, man. It's not for me to debate anymore. So
Totally. All right, Montrell, let's get you out of here. We're way over what we said we were gonna do. So, all right, guys. So for those of you who like this episode, please like the show, review the show, and subscribe to the show on whatever feed you're listening to it on. And please share it with your friends. If you'd like to interact with us on Twitter, you can do so at iTrap for the Hokage for Montrell. That's the number 4, not the word. I'm at Thundernut01, and the show is at The Player's Take. If you'd like to send us an email or question, you can do so on Twitter, or you can send us an email to theplayerstake01@gmail.com. That is going to be it for us, guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and we will see you next week. Bye.